Welcome to the 30th Street Industrial Corridor. I'm Gloria Stearns, the Executive Director for the 30th Street Industrial Corridor and BID 37. Our organization has a 20-year history of working on economic development issues in this area. This area runs roughly from Hampton on the north to Highland on the south, from 27th Street to 35th Street. And in that area we have over 155 different businesses. Some of them are small businesses, some of them are large businesses. You might know about firms like Miller Coors, Harley-Davidson, Masterlock, and the defense contractor DRS. But yet over 84% of the businesses have fewer than 25 employees. So we have a bulk of small manufacturing businesses in this area. And that's consistent with the U.S. averages, where about 53% of all small manufacturers have less than 10 employees. This area has an emphasis in manufacturing. We have a strong metals manufacturing cluster. We're hoping to get them organized so that way we can do more networking and do business with each other and try to expand. We have metals companies that are doing exporting right now. And exporting is really important because we get a better economic multiplier when we do that. So that way money from, say, China comes into the area and we can spend that locally then. That's also one of the reasons, too, that it's important to have freight rail here as well as good trucking options, so that way we can do and support our exporting a little bit better for our manufacturers. We have quite a diversity of businesses here. It's not just metal manufacturing. For example, we have one of the largest tofu and soy producers in the state, Simple Soyman. They've been here for over 20 years. And they're a family business, and they are the largest producer for groceries and restaurants of soy products in the state. We also have an art foundry here, Vanguard Sculpture Gallery. They have a variety of different artists doing both high-quality artwork and sculpture that goes all over the world. And some of you locally in Milwaukee may have seen their work along the Riverwalk. So they also manage to do gallery night participation. A lot of times on gallery night they do what they call a molten metal pour, and so they heat the metal up to over 2,000 degrees and they pour it into these sculpture casts, and they managed to attract over 100 people to the corridor on a Friday night just to come and see the molten metal pour. It's really a cool thing. We've also had success with temporary art projects. We've had a number of different installations up around Capitol and 27th Street, and we're looking to build on that success, and we're looking to capitalize by having an arts district in the area. So this is one of our lesser economic development strategies, but we're hoping that that'll complement all of the other work that we're trying to do. We have a really cool award-winning firm called Glenn Reeder. They do high-end architectural millwork. They're really neat. If you've been to Vegas, you've seen their work. They're doing all of the high-quality woodwork that's in the hotels and restaurants out there, and they continue expanding across the United States. Right now they have over 100 employees locally, and they just continue to grow. So any way that we can support them, we're happy to do so. Plus, they've been very active in the 30th Street Industrial Corridor Corporation. The 30th Street Industrial Corridor Corporation works with all of these businesses, whether they're large or small. So we find ways to help them with things like government regulation, with financing, environmental issues, workforce issues. There's a number of challenges that they face, and our job is to try to make their job easier. There's been a lot of reinvestment in the area. Century City is located in the 30th Street Industrial Corridor. The City of Milwaukee has spent over $35 million reinvesting in the old A.O. Smith former Tower Automotive site, and they're ultimately changing it into an area that will provide opportunities for new industry, for retail development, as well as housing development. And they view this as a catalytic project that will hopefully spur on other development in the area. And we've already seen the positive effects of that. For example, Morris Development recently completed their Century City Lofts on 35th Street just south of Capitol. So they're already investing in the area. Morris Development, together with WIDA, managed to put in 32 apartments in the area. So that's a fantastic development for our area. And we hope to see more catalytic projects like that continue as the years go forward. The state is also investing close to $100 million through its Transform Milwaukee initiative and WIDA in the area. They're allocating funds for things like housing, for business, for economic development, for stormwater, and hopefully all of this funding will help all of these problems to start getting resolved in a positive way, and we can make progress on them and to continue the investment. That's the thing that's been exciting, is this is a time of change, of positive change and positive momentum. The state is also very interested in workforce development. Right now you hear a lot about the skills shortage or the skills gap. And what the state is looking to do is to help beef up the training opportunities for people in the area, which is a really good thing. The people here in the area of the corridor, about 60% of them have a high school diploma and or an associate's degree or some college. So we have a workforce that's ready to work and they want to work. One of the stories that I've heard from a business owner, he was driving home one night and people in the neighborhood just jumped out in front of his car and stopped him. And he didn't know what was going to happen. And he was a little confused, and they motioned to him to roll down his window, so he did. And what they did is they handed him a resume. And they said, "We know that you own a business, and I want to work." So this is the type of story that you're hearing out of the corridor, is this group of people wants to work, they're skilled and able, so let's find ways to put them to work. Stormwater is also an economic concern in the corridor. In July of 2010, we were hit by really hard storms and flooding. In some places, the corridor had over 5 feet of water in the streets. It was disastrous to many businesses. We had, in one business alone, tens of millions of dollars of damage, impacting over 190 employees. That's just at one business. Overall, over 300 employees were impacted, with over $30 million worth of damage. So stormwater to us is an economic issue, and this is something that the Transform Milwaukee plan is helping us to address. Right now they have studies underway, so that way they can identify what are some of the exact engineering problems, both gray and green infrastructure solutions, and then working to identify funding, so that way we can start to resolve some of these solutions. So economic development is actually being impacted by stormwater in our area, and we look forward to a resolution of those issues. So this is a great time of change in the corridor, and I'm really excited to be here, and I'm glad that you're taking a moment to look at this video. And without further ado, I'd like to let our businesses tell you some of their stories.